This week on the podcast, are you concerned, lacking clarity, or confident? We're going to talk about that this week with Sean. Welcome in, my friend. How you doing? What's going on?
I'm doing well, my man. I'm doing well.
Good, good, good. We are taping Thanksgiving week, so got your stretchy pants ready?
Oh, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, me too.
Ready to go.
Yeah, we'll probably drop this after Thanksgiving, but we're taping it right beforehand. But I wanted to do this podcast on. You guys just did an article there with Kiplinger, right? So I kind of wanted to talk about this a little bit, and just kind of how that came about, and really, do you fall into one of these three types? Because I think most people. And obviously you would agree, this is why you did the article, well, that kind of fall into this, I'm concerned about retirement, I'm lacking, understanding, clarity about my retirement, or I feel pretty good, right? So let's dive in and get into a little bit. So tell me about the article.
So what we see in our office or in any event that we do is that people come to these events, they come to learn, they come to meet with us, they come to the podcast for usually one of three reasons. And when we talk about planning, you can create income in one of three ways. I think we've talked about that before. But what we're starting to realize is that people come to us, or they come to events, or they research more information for one of three reasons. We'll call it the three C's, right? They're concerned. We say it lacking clarity, but that's clarity. They want clarity, or they're confident in what they've done. And each person comes to you for a different reason. They come to research us out or to learn for different reasons, but predominantly they're lacking clarity, they're concerned, or they're just confident in what they've done.
Okay, so if we're breaking it down, so let's start with concerned, right? Because I think most people probably fall into this one, right? Even if like you're good, I think when we walk in the door, we think, "Oh God, I'm concerned."
Yeah, I'm concerned about the future. And usually this person that's concerned, they don't view retirement as like this time of new possibilities, because the media, or wherever has scared you, and that person that's concerned, they're very fearful in what the future holds, and in a lot of cases, that person that's concerned hasn't put the steps in place to understand how their plan is really going to work. So that person that's concerned, I equate it to, hey, they put their head in the sand, they've saved. And now they're coming up out of it and they're like, oh no.
Yeah. And you can probably blur that line with even clarity, right?
Yeah.
Because they easily could blur, because it's like, well, I'm concerned because I think I've done a good job, but I don't know. You know what I mean? So I need some clarity. And I would see those two kind of almost walking hand in hand a lot. Yeah. And then you sit down and you start running. Because I talk to advisors all the time, Sean, and people say, more times than not, people come in and then once they start going through the process, they find out they're in better shape than they really thought they were, and they're stoked, right? Why wouldn't you be? I think it's that almost like going to the dentist or the doctor thinking, oh, they're going to tell me something bad, Yeah.
Well, look at it this way. So we just met with a new family about a week and a half ago, which time of taping, it'll have been weeks ago. But they came in and they said, the first thing they said is, Sean, we're concerned that we haven't saved enough for retirement. It's okay. Well, one, what does that mean? What does retirement mean? And why do you feel that way? Well, every time that we go to the internet, or every time we see a commercial, they tell us that we need to have saved $2.5 million for retirement, and that's the only way we're going to have a successful retirement. So that's got us concerned. It's got us scared. And we just don't know how we're going to make it happen based on what we've saved, what we've accumulated, because we haven't reached that 2.5 million threshold. So when you start to look at being concerned, it comes with a lot of misinformation, miseducation that's out there, and not building a plan or not building a process around, all right, this is what you've saved, right? You've saved, $1 million, for example, you've saved $1 million. Yeah, it's not the 2.5 million, but that's okay, because You have a pension, you have a social security. Your income needs are way less than what the projected $2.5 million person needs, and your math problem works. So once you create some, a plan around what their unique situation is, that concern hopefully goes away.
Because see, you're a proper rock star, and so your lifestyle might cost more than mine. I'm a budget rock star here, so so the quality of my life might not be as expensive as yours, right? And that's a silly way of saying it, but it's really true, because I think it is easy to look at stuff and go, I don't think I have what my buddy has or my neighbor has or whatever. Or maybe you've had some conversations, but it's like you don't necessarily know how they live either, right? Or what the details of their expenses are. And I think that's where a lot of people get lost.
Everybody wants to compare themselves to their friend.
Sure.
Oh, or like their peers, right? Hey, Sean, how are we doing in comparison to your average client? So, well, do you think that you're going to be successful? Well, we don't know. Okay, well, let's figure out what success means to you, and then we can tell you how you're doing
and what moves the needle to be successful. Right. So, all right, so that walks us into seeking clarity. I can't talk today. Walks us into seeking clarity. And I think maybe a lot of people, Sean, this is probably, maybe you've got a plan put together. Maybe you went and got, an analysis or something, or maybe you think I've done some back of the napkin thing. I feel pretty good. I don't know. I think we got it right, but I really don't know for sure. Or I've been seeing more and more stuff about things I don't know enough about. Right. And so I really need some clarity. I just learned about Irma, right? I just learned about that and what that could do to me. So, whatever.
So the person seeking clarity is like the habitual researcher, right? Like they are getting overloaded with information. They're getting overloaded with data. They're going to every event that they can. They're researching, they're Googling, they're in their Fidelity or their Schwab accounts, or looking at all the market media and everything. And now they've become overloaded with, the media marketing. Oh, maximize Social Security. What does that mean? IRMA limits, taxation on my retirement accounts. How do I create income? Where do I create income from? All of this stuff. And they're like, holy cow.
I'm lost.
I've got all this information, but there's no clarity around.
Well, how does it work for me, right? I mean, even the basic one, somebody can go, okay, great. I've just saved $1 million or the 2 million that couple was asking you about. But how do I turn it into income? It's sitting over here in this account, right? That I don't know what to do with that.
I've done a great job saving and accumulating wealth, but now what do I do?
Yeah.
How do I keep myself from blowing my world up by making bad decisions?
Yeah.
And we've talked about Roth conversions. We've talked about a lot of different strategies. Mm-hmm. But the person that's lacking clarity may make a knee-jerk reaction or a decision that's not in their best interest, right? I heard about Roth conversions, so I'm going to convert the whole thing over, whether the data shows that it's good or bad. And now they're like, oh, well, I wish I would have been more clear on how that affected my plan.
Well, that's a great point, because they hear, well, this is going to be the best way to do this because I'm going to grow this money tax, free moving forward. Yeah, but you just cost yourself a huge taxable event, or potentially right now, because you didn't Roth over time, or you didn't Roth incrementally, whatever, right?
And if you do it wrong, you take yourself over the IRMA limits, you pay your Medicare premiums, have a surplus. I mean, there's a trickle down effect and a cascading of events that happen for every decision that you make, and usually what we can figure out is, if you are going to do, Roth conversions, for example, what's the most beneficial amount from a mathematical perspective? What's the most beneficial year to take Social Security mathematically? And rather than just hoping and praying and dreaming that the decisions that we're going to make work out for us because we're unclear, let's put some thought into how our decisions are made.
Yeah, I mean, take another piece of the puzzle, something like insurance, right? So many people can certainly hear, well, once you're over 70, you don't really need the insurance the way you used to need it because your kids are grown and blah, 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 blah. So you go cancel it, and then you find out, well, maybe I could have used it in a more better, in a better manner. and getting it again is going to cost me more because I canceled it, right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's a million ways you can mess yourself up if you don't have some clarity.
I wish we would have been clear
Yeah.
today or years ago rather than today.
Yeah.
And it comes back to that, if you would have had, if you think about some of the decisions that you've made over time, financially or whatever, that were maybe missing snippets of information, when would you want to know that you missed that snippet of information? Now, 3, 5, 10 years later, or when you're making the decision? Because if I have all the information when I'm making a decision, hopefully I can make the right decision for my situation.
Right. Yeah, it's like I had open heart surgery years ago, and I wanted the doctor. You don't want to hear him say, "So listen, I just learned something." After he's done the surgery.
Exactly.
Wait, what? No, you need to do that beforehand, right? What is that like? Wasn't that like what was the commercial? It was a hotel chain, right? I am smarter because I stayed in a such and such last night. It's
Holiday Inn Express.
There you go. You want to know that stuff ahead of time, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's talk about the last one. So confident. Now, technology and stuff, Sean, I think has made it a lot easier for people to feel more confident, especially DIYing it, right? I mean, it's a little easier, and growing your wealth is a lot easier than the preservation stage, which is retirement, right?
Well, we label the confident person as the do-it-yourselfer, which is fine.
Sure.
And we've got, people that have come to our classes, people that reach out to meet with one of our advisors. They all, the concerned person reaches out. They want to meet with us to get their concerns taken care of. Person who lacks clarity reaches out to us, but also the confident person reaches out to us as well.
That's good.
And that confident person is the DIYer. They just want confirmation that they're doing everything right. Now that's okay. Like, there are a lot of smart people out there, a lot of people that put time into their spreadsheets and understand how they're going to pull income from where and what all the stuff that they need. And they've done it themselves, and they like investing, and they love the time that it takes. And the first question that I ask, if we have that discussion, that's great. You love to do this, but does your spouse, Mrs. Smith, do you enjoy doing that?
Right.
And
do you want that second career instead of enjoying hanging out with your grandkids and going on trips?
I just let Mr. Smith do it. He loves doing it.
Sure.
Okay. Well, what happens if Mr. Smith is unable to do it?
Right.
So the do-it-yourselfer is great. Like we have
Absolutely.
Great conversations, but we also have to remember that there's usually a spouse that doesn't love to do it.
Yeah.
And that's okay as well. I handle the financial planning in our house, which I should. My wife knows what to do in the event that something ever happened to me.
Right.
Right. But I don't want her to be expected to do it if she doesn't love it. So the confident person does have gaps. They may be really good at what they're doing, but their gap is their succession plan.
And that's a great point. I mean, because even if you're doing a pretty good job building up to this, it's not your career, and so you don't know all the little ins and outs, even if you do some research. I mean, people do this 20, 30 years and they still don't know everything, right? Nobody knows everything about any position. You are always learning. And so at some point you do have to ask yourself, is it worth all this extra time? And then of course, the succession plan of things, right? What happens when I don't come down for breakfast anymore? Right.
Right.
So that's a big piece. Okay.
Are we going to be prepared?
Yeah.
Is my spouse going to be prepared, or is she going to scramble and at that time find the first advisor that she saw on the news or media or got invited to a dinner seminar and may not put her in the right path to go where she needs to go? And
you're emotionally all messed up, so you're not making the best decisions anyway. So
exactly.
Yeah. And so I think no matter which of these C's you find yourself in, whether you've got some clarity, need some clarity, confident, concerned, whatever the case is, it's important to talk with a financial professional that do this day in and day out so that you can get the information that you need. Even if you do want to do things yourself, Sean. Like, I know a lot of advisors like yourselves as well who have clients that say, hey, I still want to have my fingers in the pie. I want to be working on this. Well, that's cool, but let us make sure that we're taking care of all the stuff so that you're sound as a pound, right? And then you can go dabble and have your fun, but you're also being able to enjoy retirement.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what you're there for, right? So
our job is to allow you to enjoy your life.
Exactly. You were talking about like seeking clarity, and I was like, you were talking about, there's so much information out there, and it's like first thing I thought of was like my wife goes on Amazon looking for something, and then she's like, there's 400 versions of the same something. Which one do I want to get? And then you got to start researching which one is the one that you want or whatever. And I just had this mental image of you doing that with baseball gloves, going, which baseball glove do I want to get?
Oh man. I don't have to do that. My son sends me link after link after link of all the stuff he wants.
So there you go. See, you got a professional right there already working on it.
That's
you don't have to DIY it. All right. Well, good stuff. So look, if you need some help, you got some questions, make sure you're reaching out to Sean and the team. We have information in the show links of the show, at the description of the show. And of course, you can get there onto their calendar. And if you need any help, make sure you're checking them out online. Don't forget to subscribe to us on Apple, Spotify, and of course now YouTube. We've got some videos that are starting to blow up a little bit out there. So thank you so much for watching those. Hit that subscribe button and that thumbs up button. That way you catch new episodes when they come out, and we will see you next time here on the show. Thanks for hanging out, Sean.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
We'll see you next time.
This video has been prepared for educational and marketing purposes only. The information in this video is general in nature, does not constitute personalized investment advice, and does not provide a complete analysis of the subjects discussed. All investments involve risk, and different types of investments involve varying degrees of risk. There can be no assurance that any specific investment strategy will be profitable or suitable to you. Additionally, although information presented in this video is believed to be factual and up to date, we do not guarantee its accuracy. You should consult an attorney or tax professional regarding your specific legal or tax situation and should consult a professional advisor before implementing any of the strategies mentioned in this video. Investment advisory services are offered through Elevated Capital Advisors LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor affiliated with Elevated Retirement Group LLC. Registration as an investment advisor does not constitute an endorsement of Elevated Capital Advisors LLC by securities regulators, nor does it indicate that the firm has attained a particular level of skill or ability. Insurance advice and products may be offered by a third-party insurance producer, which may be affiliated with Elevated Retirement Group LLC and Elevated Capital Advisors LLC. Mark Killian and Third Wheel Media LLC receive compensation for their assistance in preparing and hosting this video.